green. Paul Tracy and Helio Castroneves will lead the field from this front row. Castroneves made a visit to pit lane between this first and second heat to look to get a little tune-up on his car, see if he can maybe beef up the handling a little bit.
Yes, and you know what's exciting about this front row? I believe one of them thinks that he won the 2002 Indy 500 over the other. So I think there's always some heat between these two guys, and it's going to be great to see them duel it out once again.
And just by way of letting everyone in on the story, Paul Tracy feels like he was the winner of that Indianapolis 500. Helio Castroneves won the race, has the trophy, has the ring, and climbed the fence.
I was there. I saw it as a child.
Here we go. So it's Tracy and Castroneves, Michael Waltrip and Tony Kanaan, Ernie Francis Jr. and Ryan Newman, with the local all-star Peyton Sellers lined up 7th. Greg Biffle, the winner, and Tony Stewart, the runner-up of Heat 1, are all the way at the back for this green flag.
Fascinating to see finally someone make the inside lane work. Paul had a great run into turn 1, muscled Helio out of the way, and we'll see if he was just saving his tires there in Heat 1. Maybe now is the time to attack.
Castroneves with a little peek to the inside, while Ryan Newman begins to work that outside lane. Newman came all the way from the back in that first heat, midway up through the pack, and here he is already peeking around toward the front.
Newman has definitely been one of the most impressive guys so far tonight. We've already seen the bumper being used by Helio. He's got to try to stick to the inside of Newman there so he doesn't lose that position. But Ryan seems to be able to make the top side work, which is really impressive.
Just saw Ryan Newman's car collection. I wonder if he knows that if he wins an SRX race, he can't keep the car. He needs it for the rest of the summer.
I'm sure he would figure out a way to, because he has a lot of vehicles, and I'm actually quite jealous.
Ryan, the 2nd place, and do stick around for the rest of that story of that mangled race car and why Ryan keeps it in his possession.
This is a fantastic battle. I can see Ryan getting quite aggressive with Paul Tracy here. Paul needs to stay out front as much as he can, though, because every position counts when it comes to the starting grid for later this evening.
Change for 5th position. Ernie Francis Jr. just got around Michael Waltrip. Paul Tracy last Saturday night led 11 laps of Heat 1 at Five Flags Speedway. He said in the main event he just burned the tires off it.
Which is very easy to do.
12th.
Yeah, because once you burn the tires off, you never get them back. This is a great look at both drivers' heart rates. I also wear a Whoop wristband. I wear it in every race. These guys are working hard out here tonight, and it's great to see that.
Compared to someone like yourself driving an Indy car, those heart rates are?
I mean, they're high. Mine is a little higher, but that might be for many other reasons. But these guys have a little bit of power steering. We don't in the Indy cars, so it's a little bit more physical load, but I promise you, it's hot and hard work in those cars right now.
Tracy with Newman right behind him. Then in 3rd place, Castroneves defending Tony Kanaan, who took a peek underneath him. Remember the side-by-side race those two countrymen from Brazil put on for the win in last week's race down in Pensacola.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an IndyCar fan and you see Tony Kanaan and Helio Castroneves going side-by-side, I mean, that's just such a fantastic thing to see.
Ernie Francis Jr.'s got the visor cam on for us tonight. He's looking ahead at the front 4.
Such a great view of what's going on inside the car. Ernie, again, one of those guys, had a really tough first weekend, but we know he's extremely talented, and he wants to have a good comeback weekend tonight.
Michael Waltrip might have had a nip at the back bumper of Francis there when he shot up out of the bottom lane just a little bit.
Michael Waltrip is sliding around like crazy. He's getting after it tonight.
Bobby Labonte right behind Waltrip in the white car, and then Marco Andretti in orange. Tony Stewart just tried to use the apron off turn number 4. Those two red cars side by side, Stewart and Sellers. Watch if he does it this time through turn number 4. Stewart had all 4 wheels down by that yellow line at the bottom of the racetrack. Only put 2 of them down there this time.
I really like that about this track, because you have the yellow line, and that kind of basically designates this is where the track should be. But if there's extra space to use, drivers will always find it, especially if it helps that car turn a little bit.
Let's talk about the local hero, Peyton Sellers, with Matt Yoakum.
A combo platter as far as strategy goes for Sellers, Alan. Sellers told me that basically a trend that always you see here in South Boston is you've got to come in with a clear mindset, because you've got to do everything almost reverse. You see like Stewart running the bottom. Here in South Boston, you want to drift up as the night goes on, because that's where the grip will slowly move up to the high side. He said that's where you'll see the fast guys running later in the race. Right now, he's trying to make it work, but everybody's down on the bottom.
A lot to learn. This car does not perform anything here like his NASCAR late model stock car does that he has thousands of laps in here at South Boston Speedway. Change of position is Bobby Labonte and Marco Andretti have moved past Michael Waltrip. Michael just got shuffled to the outside. You see he's lost 3 spots, and he's about to lose another as Greg Biffle forces his way to the inside of Waltrip.
Yeah, there's a term in racing we like to use sometimes called getting freight trained, and that's what just happened to Michael Waltrip. He got stuck up top, and every single car that got to his inside got by him because there was no room for him to slide down. So that was a wild move.
Little contact for second. Castroneves tries to move Ryan Newman up out of the groove in 3 and 4. They're side by side.
Oh, a little wheel-to-wheel door banging there. Ryan Newman, his reputation as the hardest man in NASCAR to pass. Elio got the job done. That was impressive.
Castroneves to second. Newman to third. Kanon in fourth. Check this out.
This is great racing. Elio getting on the power, sliding that rear up a little bit, and just making sure that Ryan knows, I'll see you later, pal. Yeah, that's exactly how you want to do it. Just get to the corner, get him a little bit out of shape, and then use the next corner to assert yourself, as they would say.
That freight train thing you mentioned may be about to happen to Ernie Francis Jr. just behind this group of 4. Bobby Labonte's gotten to Ernie's inside, and Marco Andretti is right there with him.
Marco knew he had to get to the rear bumper of Bobby Labonte to continue getting by Ernie Francis. And this is fantastic racing, honestly. Clean enough to where we're not. Oh, my goodness.
Castroneves and Tracy.
That could have been the most predictable thing I've ever seen. Elio Castroneves and Paul Tracy making contact. I hate that for Paul, though. He was having such a great race.
Yeah, definitely. So the yellow flag is out. And it was fun for the fans, not so fun for Paul Tracy.
Oh, boy, that was a late move, and that was pretty targeted.
You're saying he had radar lock?
I might see some fists fly later.
All right, the sparks are flying on Saturday night at South Boston.
So, people can get a free Samsung
from South Boston, Virginia. Heat number 2, a race for the lead, went wrong and sent Paul Tracy in that lime green machine from leading to the back of the pack.
Yeah, we just saw Elio do something very similar to Ryan Newman the lap before, but that is when you overcook it just slightly. You can't get to the exact left rear corner. You got to get into him where you can just move him and not just destroy the car like that just happened there.
So 1 to go, the signal from the starter stand. Last season, you see, in SRX competition, these two tangled twice.
I love it. I can't wait to see how this unfolds.
You're saying we haven't seen the last of this tonight.
Sad part is Paul's now got to come from the back, and he's already finished last in the first heat, so he's got a lot of work ahead of him.
Yeah, he does. So Castroneves now with Ryan Newman to his outside as we come to the restart.
Ryan Newman loves that outside lane. We see him again taking advantage of it.
Marco Andretti forces his way inside of Tony Kanaan for third as Ryan Newman goes around to the outside for the race lead.
Things are getting very aggressive out there. These cars are banging into each other like crazy right now.
Castroneves back by Newman. Whoop, Tracy just got hit by a stack up in front of him. He might have bounced off the wall slightly in turn number 2.
I saw a small ball of fire at the wall in turn 2, so I think he definitely collected a bit of the concrete.
Watch second place here. Marco Andretti in the orange car underneath Ryan Newman.
Marco Andretti having a great night so far. Strong in the first heat, already back up to the front in the second heat. I'm thinking we see some Andretti success tonight.
Marco won on the 1/4 mile Slinger Speedway in Wisconsin last summer in SRX racing. Asked him. I'll get back to that in a second. Here's Paul Tracy. Watch, they stack up in front of him.
Oh, yeah, just a victim of the situation there. That he's nothing he could have done.
Nope.
That's sometimes how things work out, and sadly, it has not been Paul's night.
And he is on pit road with the SRX crew looking over his machine to make sure there's no significant damage from that little bounce off the turn number 2 wall.
Marco Slinger Andretti's got about a minute left to try to get to the lead, and that would be wildly impressive if he can pull that off.
That win for Marco was his first win in a long time. I asked him, okay, but it was an SRX race. Did that do anything for you? He said, yeah, it did. You know why? I was racing against great drivers, and it told me I can still get it done.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't forget how to drive, that's for sure. And when you're in very equally prepared equipment, that's the goal of this series, right? Everyone's in the same car, all prepared equally, and you have a chance to go up against some of the best from all across the open wheel series and from all across the stock car series.
Marco running second right now, holding off Ryan Newman for that spot. Elio Castroneves continues to pace this second heat as he sees the white flag. One more lap to go.
This has been a great race tonight. I think this is only setting us up for a fantastic final, and Marco's going to have himself a great grid spot.
Yeah, for sure. After finishing third in heat number 1, Castroneves will win it. Andretti will finish second. And that should put him into position to be on the pole for the main event. We'll confirm that with USAC timing and scoring. But Elio Castroneves follows up his main event win a week ago with a heat race win tonight.
Absolutely. Elio, we did talk about the NASCAR guys being quick, but here's the IndyCar guys yet again up front.
Hey, just a minute to pay tribute to one of the legends of motorsports. All the SRX cars carrying that decal in memory of racing pioneer, visionary Bruton Smith, who passed away this Wednesday at the age of 95. He dreamed things up. He made them reality, all for the betterment of the sport and for its fans. And we remember, Bruton Smith, for all he did for the sport we love so much.